What's up, everybody? Walter here. Thanks for coming on to the Awesome Walter YouTube channel. I'm back with another vlog for 2 episodes of Star Wars Rebels that aired yesterday night on Disney XD. This is a 2-parter named In the Name of the Rebellion, and this was what I was talking about. I'm very excited for where the show is going because of episodes like this where you can see it connecting, especially to Rogue One, with a lot of stuff that happened in this 2-parter. You know, compared to last week's 2 episodes, the stuff on Mandalore I thought was like okay, but it didn't really draw me in, and it was just sort of a meh premiere of the new season. But I kind of wish they started off with this, because this was a really strong 2-parter focusing around Saw and the morality of the rebellion, on if it's, you know, like what line they should cross to defeat the Empire. Should there be no line that they shouldn't cross, or should it be, you know, them holding on to their morals and everything? And there was a good discussion that we saw in this episode, and that we saw play out throughout their actions. So the first part of this was just kind of everyone getting back together. This is the whole team except for the robot that we got, the droid, I should say, that we got introduced to last season. The blue one, I can't remember his name, who was with Chopper, sort of Chopper C-3PO. I haven't seen him around. I actually really liked him, so I hope that they haven't just dropped that character and he'll come back, because I thought him and Chopper's back and forth was actually really funny. So hopefully he comes back. But we get Yavin 4, so we see Yavin 4 in this. The base is there. The Rebel base has been established on Yavin 4. The team reunites. We see cameos from Wedge in this. Agent Kallus is there, looking completely different. His character's completely been redesigned, as he was obviously a mole in the Empire, and now he is out of that situation and is now working for the Rebellion. We also saw Senator Organa. Mon Mothma has a pretty big part in this first episode, and then Saw Gerrera sort of is projected out as a hologram to sort of a call to arms to anyone who is feeling that Mon Mothma isn't doing enough for the Rebellion, to sort of join his side, his sort of, you know, they got the A side and the B side of the Rebellion and the Empire, and he's sort of the C option. He's kind of the Rebellion's rebellion, if you know what I mean. So Forrest Whitaker, I believe, was voicing Saw Gerrera in this episode, and he had a really good performance, really good vocal performance here. That character we didn't really get to see much of in Rogue One, obviously because the reshoots. I think that, you know, a lot of stuff was changed around. We did see him last year or last season in Star Wars Rebels, but this episode I think really encapsulated the character a little bit more, and the moral ambiguity that he has as a member of the Rebellion, but also he, like I said, he doesn't have any lines he won't cross. He'll kill civilians. He'll do whatever he can. It's more of a terrorist organization to take out the Empire. And we got to see him have debates with Ezra and Sabine about that, and Hera and everything, and Mon Mothma in this first part. So he had a really strong performance here. So Ezra and Sabine were supposed to go to this giant satellite, and the relay, I believe they called it. And I think they're trying to infiltrate something. They wanted to blow it up, but they weren't allowed to blow it up. And then Saw came by, and when they were found out, and he ended up blowing it up anyway. And to get them off in time, he takes Ezra and Sabine, and they sort of go off on their own mission. That Saw is saying that there's a transport that is carrying something essential to what the Empire is building, which we know is the Death Star. So we're interested to see where that's, you know, like what actually went into the building of the Death Star. I mean, we got a lot of details, obviously, in Rogue One about the origin of the Death Star and everything like that, but now kind of we're seeing even more what powers it and things like that. And we see little hints about, you know, where we're going with all this. So part 2 is really the meat of this story. So Sabine and Ezra help Saw break into this supposedly civilian freighter, but it actually has an Imperial secret within it, if you will. And so we see that there's prisoners brought on there. There are stormtroopers. There are actual death troopers, I believe that's what they're called, from Rogue One. So that's another connection there to that movie. So they're guarding a power source for the Death Star, is what we come to see, and it's a Kyber crystal. It's the crystal that powers lightsabers from Jedi and Sith and everything. So, but this one's giant. This is a giant green Kyber crystal, and it can be unstable at that that size as Ezra says. So he's the one who identified it and sort of heard its song or whatever. So they see where it's hidden. And from there, we get into the interesting moral ambiguity of Saw, where he shoots down, or stuns, I should say, Ezra and Sabine. So Saw wants to ride this hyperdrive out to wherever this rendezvous point is, because he thinks the Death Star is there. It ends up not being there. So he wants to just destroy the Kyber crystal, so he sets it off, he makes it unstable. He leaves with his pilot and sort of leaves Sabine and Ezra to rescue the prisoners there, which he didn't really care about, Saw didn't, and then sort of plan their own mode of escape. So they hijack an Imperial ship and leave the freighter just as that thing, the Kyber crystal, explodes, and it blows up not just the freighter ship it was on, but an entire Star Destroyer that was taking it probably to the Death Star build. So they just barely escaped that. I forgot to say that we did also hear a little mention of Krennic, who obviously in Rogue One was the leader of the building of the Death Star and everything. So a lot of calls to that movie as we're getting closer and closer. These two timelines are about to meet up from the end of Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels to the beginning of Rogue One. So very interested to see where they go with this at the end, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. But this is good stuff. This is what I like Star Wars Rebels for, these missions that they go on and everything. So eventually Hera rescues Ezra and Sabine and the prisoners on board, and they all sort of pledge their allegiance to the rebellion and everything. So this is a really good episode. Really like Forrest Whitaker's role as Saw and his ambiguity in the morality department, and I'm interested to see where it goes next. So what are you looking forward to in Star Wars Rebels Season 4? How do you want the show to wrap up? Let me know in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the top 5 worst episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark that just went up on Channel Awesome for top 5. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week, and may the Force be with you.